Good morning, everybody. Give me 1 second, please. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you all are doing well. Gonna get started here. Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome in, Willie. Welcome in, Danita. Happy Friday. Happy New Year. So this morning I do want to talk about something a little bit different. If you've been to my lives before, you're probably used to me just crocheting and listening to music. But today I do want to talk about setting some SMART goals, whether it's for this year, the next 5 years, the next decade, whatever it is that you're looking to do. We're going to go ahead and start mapping out some SMART goals. And I got my notebook ready. So if you guys are wanting to make some SMART goals today with me, we can do that together. Ask your questions in the chat. Whatever you need to do. But today, that's what we're doing. We are setting a guideline for ourselves. And it doesn't necessarily have to be like business mindset. It could be personal things too. So go ahead, grab a notebook, grab a paper, or not a paper, grab a notebook, grab a pen or pencil, anything to write with, and we are going to go ahead and get started. I'm just getting the last of my little things here. Give me 1 second, everybody. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Friday, happy Friday. While I'm getting this together, I want you guys to go ahead and start thinking about some of the stuff that you want to accomplish for, I would say, the next decade, because I really want us to really map this out for, from 2025 all the way to 2035. Like, what does your life look like in that time span, and what kind of things are you realistically going to be able to attain within the next decade of what you're trying to do. So go ahead and start thinking about that. I already made a couple of notes here just to kind of map this out for everybody. If you don't know what SMART goals are basically a guideline of how you want to format the goals that you want to set for yourself. So, for example, let's say you are wanting to lose weight, right? You say, my goal is to lose weight. Okay, perfect. That's an amazing goal, right? That is something that, is really attainable, something that you can do. But we want to kind of fine-tune that a little bit, because saying I want to lose weight, that's very vague. It's very like, okay, you want to lose weight. What does that mean? So we kind of want to fine tune things to fit the SMART goal criteria, so that way you kind of have an idea of how you can set the steps up to reach the goal that you're trying to do. So, for example, the first part of setting a SMART goal, S, stands for specific. So you want to specify what that goal means and what you are really realistically trying to attain with that goal. So let's say we're still using the example of wanting to lose weight. Okay, you want to lose weight. How much weight do you want to lose? Is it 10 pounds, 25 pounds, 30 pounds? You want to put a number to that to specify it, so that way you can really set the tone for what the goal is. And now that you have a number to it, it makes it a little bit easier to make those steps. So let's go ahead and start with one of our goals here. Like I said, I'll write this out just to stick with the weight, just so that way when we're going through this, it has a flow, of theme. But of course, you guys are going to be writing your own goals, and the sky's the limit, guys. Like I said, we are planning for the next decade. So even if it's not something that you can attain right now in this year, still write it down, because maybe that can be a 5-year goal or a 10-year goal, because we are going to break it down between, okay, now I have my goals out. Now we're going to set steps on when we're going to attain these specific goals. So I said lose weight. Now this isn't my personal goal, but we're just going to use it for right now just to make things easier. So there we go. First main goal is lose weight. Now Using the specific method, I'm going to say lose 10 pounds. And I do apologize because I write in cursive, so if you can't read that, I apologize. But now specified, lose 10 pounds, okay? And let me go ahead and put this on here. So I'm going to give you guys a moment. Think about some of the goals. I'll give you about like 2 minutes here to really think about, okay, what do I really, really, really want to do, and jot it down. Like I said, grab a big note and paper. We're brain dumping and then we're fine tuning. So it's okay if you're using up a lot of paper to fine tune. We are walking through this very much step-by-step base. And if you have any questions and you guys want to bounce things off of each other in the chat or off of me, feel free to put it in the comment section, and we can fine tune together. This is a workshop for all of us to gain some value in this here. Oh, there we go. I was looking for the stickers and for some reason I could not find it. Okay, so I'm gonna put what step we're on as a sticker up here so you guys can follow along with me. So we have S for specific. And like I said, I'll make this a little bit bigger because I know I would not. Oh, I can't make it bigger. Okay. Sorry guys for those that can't really see that well, like myself. So go ahead and start writing. I know we have a couple minutes here, so I'm going to jot some things down myself. And when you're thinking of, guys, like I said, the sky's the limit. Don't limit yourself to what your goals are. Like, I know everybody always says every year, this year is my year. But, you know, just have that faith in yourself. You don't have to limit yourself. Like, this is not the year to shortchange and, you know, doubt or, you know, not take risks. And you want to come into every year like that, or just like every day realistically. Never think that you can't do something. If it's in your mind, it's there for a reason. So, you know, lean into that. Feel like, give yourself that grace and be like, okay, this is something that I've always wanted to do. You know, what's stopping you from realistically doing that? Maybe it's mindset. Maybe it's, you know, the failure to kind of, you know, create a realistic plan that works best for you. And a lot of times when we're setting goals, sometimes the situation is where it's not either specific enough or it's not measurable enough, or, you know, sometimes it's not like, okay, this is what I want to do, like, how do I get there? Like, the steps aren't really there. You're here and then you want to be here, but you don't know how to kind of climb that ladder. So that's what these goals are going to kind of help you with, because once you break it down into what it is that you're trying to do, then you can realistically say, okay, this month I can focus on doing this, which relates to that goal. This month I'm going to stop doing this because this relates to that goal, right? So, you know, this is where this kind of helps out with the planning part, the latter part. Give me one moment. I'm on here trying to, there we go, now I can see. All right, so now that we have a couple of our specific goals lined out, let me get my notes here. The next one, I'm going to put it in here, is M for measurable. So I kind of touched on this a little bit, but when we are writing the measurable part of our goal is basically saying, okay, now I'm putting a timestamp. How long is it going to take me to obtain this goal? So like I said earlier, we said lose weight was the main goal, right? Then we specified it with the specific to lose 10 pounds. Now, how long do I want to take to lose 10 pounds? That's going to be the measure goal. So that can look like I'm going to lose 10 pounds in, let's just say, 6 months. I don't know. That's just what the number came up to me. All right, so main goal, specific goal, measurable goal. So it's the same thing, but we're getting more and more concise as we go through the SMART goal format. So that's kind of how that works. So within all the goals that you have listed right now, put a timestamp on it. If you want to fire your boss in a year, put I'm going to fire my boss in 1 year, or I'm going to fire my boss in September, or something like that. Make sure you put a timestamp on that goal, because that really solidifies what solidifies the steps that you're going to make for the in between ladder that's going to help you attain what you're trying to reach. Thank you guys for joining. Welcome in, Sierra. Good morning, Big C. So I'm gonna give you guys a moment to add that extra little tidbit into your goals. So now we're gonna make them measurable. And like I said, I'm doing this as well. So if you guys have any questions or you want to bounce off ideas, feel free to put them in the chat if you're comfortable with that, or if you want to message me directly, you can do that as well. But this is a safe space. We're all here trying to reach the same thing. We all are here to empower each other. Like, I'm a mompreneur. Like, I'm all for the side hustles and, having the different businesses and things like that, because that's something that I really enjoy doing, and having multiple streams and staying home while doing it, because I love my kids and I want to be home with them. So that's something that me personally I'm really leaning into more so this year. So I'll share one of my bigger goals is I recently started working again, like a regular job type of thing. But the goal is always to fire my boss and be self-sustaining, letting my businesses pretty much stand for themselves. So big goal, fire my boss in 4 years. That is one of my biggest things that I am aspiring to. So that's an example of one of my goals that I'm working on and trying to set the steps to kind of get that together. Another one, maybe, I don't know, like I said, I'll keep with the losing weight one. That's not typically my personal goal, but like I said, that can be something that you can add on there is, okay, I want to do this type of thing. Cook more, or, go less coffee or something. It doesn't have to be big either. It could be something small like that either. All right, so now that we have them, the measurable, I'm going to write this one. We are doing the A portion, which is achievable, guys. So this one is kind of tricky in the way where this is where the level-headedness comes in. Okay, so I know I said like just write everything on there, but the achievable portion is the part where it's like, okay, you write everything on there, but within reason. So let's say you put win the lottery. Like, that's a cool goal to have. Of course, everybody wants to win the lottery, but how can you really control how that works, right? So it's something that you can realistically like achieve and control to start to aspire to. You don't want to put something that's just, so out there. Like, let's say you want to, I can't even think of one because I've learned to train my mind to think a certain way. But let's say you wanted to get your doctorate in 2 years. Not as likely to do that if you don't have if you only have like associates, or if you only have a diploma or something, right? Because that takes many years to do that. So just things like that. Just watch out for making sure that yes, you can reach for the moon, absolutely, but make sure you allow the time to do that. That's where that measurable comes in. You allow the time to be able to reach for the moon. So maybe if you want to get your doctorate degree, span out that 2 years to maybe like 8 years or 9 years or something like that. So that way you have the time to actually achieve your goal. Because a lot of times, sometimes we set goals so high for ourselves, and if we don't reach it within the time span that we allowed it, that can be a little disheartening a little bit. So let's try to avoid doing that. Let's try to rethink our minds to say, okay, if I want to do this, I can do this. But let me allow the realistic time that I can do to achieve this goal. So with this one, I feel like the measurable goal that I set, lose 10 pounds in 6 months, that's pretty achievable. Like, you can realistically make that happen. So I'm not going to write anything additional for that, because the achievable is already added into that particular goal set. And then we are going to do the R, which is relevant. Now, this one I feel like comes with also the sub goals that you're going to make. So when you're making your main goal, you have, like, let's say, like we have here, lose weight. We started with that. Oh, and I'm going to show you guys here too, right there. That was the main sub goal, okay? And then we specified it to 10 pounds. Now what you can do is start making sub goals to kind of set the steps to attain that. So maybe that means going out less, like maybe going out once a week instead of every day, or going out once a month instead of every day, right? Something like that. That's something that's relevant to your goal. You don't want to have a main goal of, let's say, losing weight, and then you say, okay, and then I'm going to go on vacation. Like, that doesn't make that sub goal does not make sense with the main goal at hand. So you want to keep it relevant to the sub goals that you're creating for your SMART goals, relevant to what the main goal is at hand. So that can look like going to the gym once a day, or going to the gym once a week if you're starting off small and working up to it. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, right? Like, super changing your comfort zone. You can ease up to things. Maybe that's drinking more water, or maybe that's, taking a walk around the neighborhood, maybe twice a week or something like that. Those are easier goals that sub goals that directly relate to the main goal at hand that you're trying to obtain. So that's something that you can also do when it comes to when we're mapping this out. This is why I said have a mix of 10 goals, or 10-year goals, 5-year goals, and 1-year goals, because the steps in between, you're going to be able to map those out and see what that means for that specific main goal for you. And then the last one, last but not least, is time bound. Excuse me. All right, so we have time bound. So again, making sure you put a realistic number to the type of goal that you're creating. You don't want to shoot so high in such a short amount of time, because is, like I said, very disheartening if you do not reach the goal that you're trying to do, because you set the bar so high for yourself and now you feel like you can't obtain what you're trying to do. So just be mindful of that, making sure that you have all those elements. We have the specific, we have the measurable, we have achievable, we have relevant, and time bound. We want to make all of our goals centered around that same criteria, so that way when we are mapping out what our next decade is going to look like, it's a plan that makes sense with each other. So I'm going to give you guys a couple moments to write that down. I'm going to make a note here. Let's jot down, let's start with a minimum, bare minimum, okay, of 5 goals here that I want you to create for yourself. Hold on, my screen went out. Okay, there we go. All right. So I'm gonna just create like a couple of goals that I have personally. I shared one with you already. And 3. And you can do more, of course. I'm just saying start with 5 for right now for what we're about to do. And then we're going to map that out, okay? So 1, I already told you, fire my boss in I said 4 years. Thirteen. Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome in, Stefan. Welcome in, Sancho. If you guys are new here, what we're doing is we're writing down 5 of our goals with the SMART goal criteria. So that way we can map this out, and we're going to break it down from the 10-year mark to the 5-year mark to the 1-year mark, and then for quarterly. So we're going to break it really, really down and set up a realistic plan for the next 10 years. All right, so and I said start with 5 for now, and then you can do more later on, but we're going to just stick with 5. Okay. All right, so I have my 5 goals here. So one of them, like I said, I told you guys earlier, is firing my boss in 4 years. Okay, so that is a 4-year plan. I'll let you know one of my 10-year plans is to own a 5-bedroom home, like actually own the 5-bedroom home, not renting. So we'll go with that one because that one is a bigger goal. That one, it will take a little bit more longer. That's a 10-year plan. So let's say I want to map out that plan here for the 10-year mark. So I'm going to write it on this page so I can start it over. Own a 5-bedroom home. Okay, that's my 10-year. Okay, that I'm going to put 10-year in here. And when you're writing these goals as well, this is kind of like a subnote how you're writing. You want to make it definitive language. So like how I said, own a home. That's something that I'm not saying I want to own a home or I wish to have this or I should have this. Those are very subjective. You want to make your goals very definitive. Like, I am owning a home. You want to say it like it's an affirmation, because if you get in your mindset that this is something that's already happened, this is past tense, then there's nothing that's going to tell you that you can't get this done, because in your mind you've already seen it, you've already attained it in your mind. So that's just something that I like to do. Definitive language when you're writing your goals, it does help when you're re-looking at this. So now how am I going to set the steps to own a home? Okay, so let's break it down. By 10 years, that's the goal, is to own. Now my 5-year mark, 5 years. So by 5 years, what do I need to do that's going to directly allow me to help earn my goal for owning a home? So one is get my credit score to a certain level. So I would say get my credit score to, I'm going to say 750. So in 5 years, from where it is now to the 5-year mark, so that's what, it's 2025. I forgot what year it was already, my bad. So that means by 2030, I need to get my credit score to a 750 score rating. So that is something that's measurable in the next 5 years that I can start attaining to do. Now that I have that built out, another thing I can do is, pretty much, let's say, savings. Have a minimum of, what's a realistic number? Hold on, give me 1 minute. Because I also want, not going to say want, I'm also going to have savings and things already applied to that. So let me do some quick calculations on what that number is going to be for me. All right, so if I'm doing divided by 5, okay, that's attainable. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to say have a minimum of 10K in, let's say, savings for house. So this is specifically a house fund. That's not in any other assets. This is in any other like accounts or anything. This is specifically 10K designated for home. So that's going to be my 5-year goals that relate directly to my main goals. So we have the 10-year mark. This is the end goal, is owning a 5-bedroom home. By 5 years, these are the 2 things that need to happen. Have a 750 credit score and having 10K in the bank. And then obviously, you know, there's going to be more after that. But by the 5-year mark, that's where we need to be as far as the savings go. Now, for this 1 year, which is this year, we're going to break that down. So this year, what do I need to do that's going to directly relate to some of my 5-year goals? So yes, it is going to be related to 10-year goals, but we already have our 5-year related to our 10-year. So now we want to kind of look at it as we're going down, but we're really just kind of building up. So we're reverse minding this. Okay, so 1 year is to, let's tackle, close out 50% of debt. So that's what we're going to do. That's the first goal. Working directly, this is going to help with the credit score, is closing out 50% of the current debt that I have. Because y'all, student loans and student loans, those are a real thing, y'all, once you get older. So if you're watching this while you're young and in college, get those scholarships, please, because you do not want to have those problems. They do not leave you alone. All right. So the rant over. But that is one thing that I can start doing for my 1-year goal. Another thing that can relate to the saving portion of the goal. I did the numbers just now, and I already forgot what numbers I said. That's crazy work. But let's do this. I divided 10,000 by 5 years. So that's putting back $2,000 per year. So if I divide that 2,000 by 12, that's $166.67. So I'm going to round up because that's just how I am. I'm going to just say save. I'm going to just say save $200 every month. Okay? So with those numbers, if I'm saving $200 every month, the number to save to get to 10K in 5 years is $166.67. If I'm saving $200, then I'm going to have a little bit more than that. So you can even do little things like that. And when you break it down, getting to 10K in 5 years doesn't sound that bad, right? Just putting $200 a month. I don't know. Well, it may sound like a lot to some people, but for me, that's pretty attainable. Putting back $200 a month. So, you know, that's kind of how you want to map out your goals, guys. You want to start big, and then you break it down. And that's why when you have it in that SMART goal format, this is what making that plan and making that ladder looks like, and it makes it easier for you. So for those of you guys that are new here, we're writing down goals. We went through the SMART goal criteria earlier, so if you were gone or you missed it, you can watch this later on YouTube. I'm going live on there as well right now, so you'll be able to see what we did ahead of earlier. If you're wanting to get this done for your future 2025 or all the way up to 2035. But this is what we have so far. So 10-year goal, own a 5-bedroom home in 10 years. 5-year that relates directly to the 10-year is to get a credit score of 750 and to have a minimum of 10K in the bank. So that was my 5-year goals. Something that I can do for this year. So my 1-year goal is to close out 50% of the debt that I have, while also putting back $200 per month towards that savings. So those are goals that I can directly do. And we are not done, y'all, because I told you we are going to do it by quarterly as well. So now that we have our 1-year portion, let's see what we can attain in 9 months. So we are at the 9-month mark. Now, if I'm sticking with this theme of the owning a 5-bedroom home, that is the main goal here. What can I do in 9 months that'll help me with my credit score of getting to 750 in 5 years and closing out 50% of debt in 1 year? Well, one can be, that's a good question, honestly, because I've been really trying to figure out how to close out, try to figure out how to map that out for a while now when it comes to actually closing my debt. So I'm going to pause on that one for a minute. We're going to go to the saving $200 every month. We're going to skip the first one for a minute. So in 9 months, what is something that I can do? Excuse me. All right, so saving $200 every month in the 9-month mark. Let's say have one. Okay. So this is kind of like 2 goals in one, but it's kind of related. So I put down have YouTube bring extra $200 per month. And why I did that is because one of my goals this year was already to be monetized on YouTube. That's just one of the things that I was aspiring to. But by having that be my goal, the specific $200 a month, that means that check for that monetization is going to go directly towards my savings by the 9-month mark. So that's why I have it on here. Going to have, hopefully, no, I'm not going to say hopefully. It's going to be more than that. I know it is because I believe in myself. But minimum by 9 months from now, $200 steady income. Obviously, that's what when I say that, I mean it's steady income. A steady $200 from YouTube specifically coming in every month. That is going to be my goal for the 9 month. That will help me save $200 because that's an extra $200 that's already being added to my income that I can start putting away for a home. Now with the closed out 50% debt, I don't have a plan for that yet because debt is one of those things where it's just one of those eyesores. You just kind of have to tackle it. There's no real plan for it. So I'm not going to actually put a plan on there for the 1 year mark. I just know by 1 year I want to cancel out 50%. I just don't know how to do that yet, and that's okay. And that's going to be how it is for some of these goals that you create. You might hit a snag and you might have to think about, okay, how am I going to realistically do this? And you might need to sit on it a little bit, and that's perfectly fine. If you have goals like that, be sure to sit on it because that means you're really serious about being intentional with it, and that's a good sign there too. All right, now we're going to break it down into 6 months. All right, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months. What can I do in 6 months that's going to help me with my 9-month goal of bringing in $200 per month for YouTube? And again, this is all directly related to owning a home, because in order for us to get the home, we have to have the funds for it. We have to have the credit score for it. Um, so this is, even though this is one of my one of my, like, business goals, it's also directly related to what I want to do for my house too. So 6 months, what can I do in 6 months that will guarantee me $200 a month? Well, one is to I'm going to have the minimum. I forgot what the criteria is, so let me look really quickly. Okay, it says 500 on here, but we are going to shoot for the moon. I know I can do it. I know I can do it. So have 1,000 subscribers. So that when you do the earning on YouTube, basically the eligibility that you have to have a certain amount of subscribers and you have to have a certain amount of watch hours. So for me, my focus is on the subscribers, because the kind of content that I'm going to do is like, it's a mix of short form and long form. So I'm not going to really set a goal for the watch hours, but I really, really, really want that number for the subscribers. So that's the number I'm focusing on, and I have that minimum, that 1,000 subscribers that's required for that eligibility on YouTube. So that's going to be my 6-month goal. And that one is a big goal. That one is a big step. But I know I can do it. I know I can. I believe in myself, like I said. So that is what my goal is by my 6-month mark. And like I said, if you guys want to, feel free to, contribute to some of those some of those subscribees. You guys on Twitch and TikTok. It's the same name that I have on here, the Mompreneur Sarabi. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, that was my little spiel from now on. That was my little spiel. But moving on. Now that we have our 6 months, so again, for those of you new here, we are breaking down our goals with the SMART goal criteria. I'm going to show you guys over here as well, because I have you guys on TikTok, I have you guys on Twitch and YouTube. But right there, own a 5-bedroom home. Credit score 750 with a 10K savings. Then we have closed out 50% of debt with saving 200. Then we have YouTube bring in, monetize, extra 200 a month. And then for the 6-month goal, in order to help with that, I need that eligibility of that 1,000 subscribers. All right, now 3 months from now, what is the goal for getting those subscribers? So obviously, completely scheduled content for mompreneur for a year. Now this one I'm gonna kind of go crazy with, because I have a lot of things that by the end of 3 months need to be done for this particular thing. So one of them I just said completely have all my mompreneur schedule content for the year already listed on there. So if I have those already mapped out scheduled things, then that allows me time for spontaneous moments where I'm like, hey, I want to try a wig today, or hey, I want to just record a random video of us doing something, me and the kids, or the family or something. We're traveling and I'm mapping that out. Those are like extra little videos that I can just add on to the channel to make it great. But if I have those, because my overall theme is I want to empower moms, especially like anybody who wants to be an entrepreneur, but my focus is really on moms who want to be able to stay home with their kids and be able to still earn a living while doing so. That's exactly who I am. It's so funny too because I grew up in a household where getting a degree and getting your job, like getting a career and things like that, like that was something that was drilled into me very, very, very young. And that's where I was at for a time when I was younger. And then I had kids, and then I discovered what it's like to, really be a mom. And one of the biggest things that I really kind of opened my eyes to the journey that I'm on now is when one of my daughters, she was just learning how to like talk and walk and things. And I felt like I was missing everything. Like I just woke up and I'm like, you're walking now. Like, when did that happen? Like, you're starting to say words now. Like, when did that happen? Like, I missed all of those little mini milestones, and that was something that I never wanted to do again. So, I became a stay-at-home mom, and, I love it. I love it. I really, really do. But in this day and age, like, if you're going to do things like that, you do still want to have some of that, power, that financial freedom, and, some of those things where if I want to go shopping, I can do those things. And it's kind of hard to do that in this day and age with like a one-person household. So I want to show other moms like myself that, want to still stay at home with their kids and, work from home and things like that. But, also be able to have that financial freedom that they want themselves too. So that is my main goal. That's what I want to share out to the world because, again, that's who I am, and that's what I want to help other moms who feel like they can't do it be able to do that, because the transition is not as hard as you think, especially if you have a support system. But if you don't, then the community that I would love to have, we are going to be each other's support system with a judgment-free zone. So if that sounds like you, then, feel free to follow. You don't have to do it on TikTok, but for YouTube, that's really where the community is going to build for sure. I'm going to start a different little chat for us separately where we can talk things. Even those who like, anime and all the girlies. Like I said, it's a judgment-free zone, so it's going to be awesome. But by 3 months, I'm going to have all of that set up. So when it comes to the mompreneur specific content on how you can grow your business, and how this month is all about goal setting. So this whole month in January is about goal setting. And then next month, we're going to really focus on setting your foundations for a lot of the businesses that you're trying to do, or a lot of the aspirations that you're trying to have. So if that's something that you want to start following for this year, like I said, make sure you follow my YouTube channel, because we are really breaking it down every single day, each month on different topics. All right, so now by 3 months as well, this is that's my timer. So now that we have that 3 month mark, I'm also going to add a different one that's going to contribute to the subscribers. So I kind of talked about it a little bit with the community, is to have memberships fully operational. And for me, I'm still mapping out on what I want to include in my memberships when it comes to the mompreneur community, where I already know I'm calling us lady CEOs because that's what we are. And I'm really trying to figure out, like, what is going to be more valuable for all of our lady CEOs. So if you have some ideas on that feels like you and you're wanting to be a part of that community, feel free to give me some ideas on what you specifically would like to see, because that is something that I'm catering 100% to the people that are in the memberships and people who are in the community. Because I want you guys to have a say-so too on what's going to be helpful for you to really take your business or, just your lifestyle to the next level, so you can be completely sustaining. And if you want to fire your boss like I do in 4 years, you'll be able to realistically do that and not, break a sweat. All right, so now we have that 3 month map down. Last but not least, by the end of this month, what do you have and what are you going to accomplish? So again, like I said, I'm doing different topics every single month on my YouTube channel. By the end of this month is the goal setting. So by then, I definitely am going to make sure that I have my 30 full days of content on there. Right now, I already have just the three because it's day three. And I know in the past when I set myself up for like, doing 30-day plans or 40-day plans, sometimes I kind of, miss one day and then the rest of the days I'm just done. So for me, hitting every single day on those 30 days of doing some kind of content, that's a big deal for me because that means I stayed consistent. That is where I have to work on is my consistency. But it's a new year. We're going to do this. So in order for me to get that, to own that 5-bedroom home, this is what needs to happen. So I'm going to put on here, have 30 full days of content. I'm going to put valuable content because you can put things on there, but if it's not valuable to people, then you're not really getting those deals, or not deals, but you know what I mean, getting those subscribers. And I'm also going to put a sidebar on there too. This is more for a Twitch account. It's not even, you know what? Nope, because it's not relevant. It's not relevant. That's a different breakdown. But there we go. We have our breakdown, guys. So if you are new here, we just went through our SMART goals. So we basically, where did I put it? Like my notebook? It's cute, right? I'm a rose gold queen. I don't know why, I just love rose gold. So basically we learned what SMART goals were. So we learned how to break down general goals into the SMART goal formats, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And then we made about 5-ish goals of ourselves. I just did one main one to show you guys. I picked a 10-year goal of mine so I could show you guys how to break it down. So 10-year goal, own a 5-bedroom home, right? Boop, boop. 5-year goal, how is that going to pertain to owning a 5-bedroom home? Is to get a credit score of 750. That's one of my goals. And to have a minimum of 10K in the bank specifically for the house fund. That's not including any other savings. Just specifically for house, 10K. Now, how are we going to do this in 1 year? Close out 50% of the current debt that I have. Because like I said, student loans are not fun, so we got to close those out. And then saving $200 every month, which is very attainable. Okay, breaking it down. That 10K looks a lot less harder when you do the numbers. And when I did the numbers earlier, like I said, this is what I need to save a month to get to 10K in 5 years. So let's do 200. Let's do 200 times 12. That's 2,400 times 5. So realistically, if I'm putting 200 a month, I'm actually putting 12K away for the next 5 years. So, when you break it down like that, those numbers don't seem as hard to obtain. That's why we break it down that way. 9 months, have YouTube bring in extra 200. So that's where those savings are going to come from, is getting my YouTube together. 6 months, having that eligibility by 6 months with the 1,000 subscribers. And then 3 months, completely having all the mompreneurs scheduled for a year by the 3-month mark. So all of my recordings done, all of my, with the exemption of lives, because obviously I'm going to be going live simultaneously. Like right now I'm multi-streaming, but having those lives are going to be different, but the videos are going to be automated. And then having those memberships available by the 3-month mark. And then 1 mark having a full day of valuable content. So that's going to start the train of consistency for me, because it takes 21 days to start a habit. So if I do my full 30 days, making those content scheduled and already put together. It's already going to be by habit by now. So you see kind of how all of those little things work. You start big, break it down, and now it's a little bit easier to kind of climb that ladder. That's what you want to do when you guys are goal setting. Anytime that you are writing something down and aspiring to do something. So I hope this was valuable for you guys. If it was, let me know in the chat. And again, if you came in a little bit late and you heard some valuable and you want to kind of, go back to what we were talking about in the beginning on how to really write down those SMART goals. Like I said, this live is going to be on my YouTube because I'm live streaming on there right now. So you'll be able to watch what we did earlier. And then you can really map down these goals. Or if you want to write down more goals and kind of go through that format again, that will be available to you guys as well. But I'm going to go ahead and head out, guys. Happy goal setting, and let's make this a great year. Let's make this a great 10 years, actually. We're going to say that the next 10 years, we're going to go decade-wide. It's going to be amazing. I believe in all of you guys. You guys have what it takes because that vision came to you for a reason. Just remember that vision came to you for a reason. So that is divine intervention right there. You were meant to do something with it. So this is your time. This is your message to do something with it. You guys have an amazing day, and all love. Bye.